One of the notable people who does not want an investigation into just what on earth happened in Washington, D.C. on January 6th as Trump supporters broke into the Capitol is Fox News propagandist Tucker Carlson. It's all as much of a riot as you can imagine. We already discussed earlier in the show that many in the Republican Party, including Republican leaders like House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, they don't want the January 6th investigation to happen. And here, Tucker Carlson praises Kevin McCarthy for opposing the investigation. Recall that Tucker Carlson is very much a man of the people. He's a populist. He's for transparency. He's for accountability. He's for all of that stuff. But he doesn't even want an investigation to take place. And here he is attaboying Kevin McCarthy.
This is not a partisan show. We usually go after Democrats. Sometimes we go after Republicans. Recently, we went after a couple of times the head Republican in the House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy of California, for his living arrangements. But we want to be honest above all, and when politicians do something right, we want to say so. Kevin McCarthy, the minority leader in the House, today did something right. He said he will not support a commission, a 9/11-style commission, to investigate the insurrection of January 6th.
Tucker is defiantly proud of Kevin McCarthy for opposing a commission to investigate the January 6th insurrection. It's also hilarious to hear Tucker say he doesn't do a partisan show. I mean, we could do 15 minutes on that, but we won't. Tucker is actually so opposed to an investigation that he wants to take names of all Republicans who vote in favor of it, because some do plan to. The exact number is yet unclear. Take a listen.
The top Republican on the House Homeland Security Committee is apparently pushing for this 9/11-style commission. One anonymous House Republican told The Hill that anywhere from between 30 and 50 Republicans might join CATCO in voting for this farce. What are they voting for? They're voting to give Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and Joe Biden more power they do not deserve, power they did not win in November. Republican voters deserve to know the names of every congressional Republican who votes for this farce, for the myth-making that is being used right now to strip you of your constitutional rights. They should know which of the representatives is playing along with this poisonous hoax.
So clearly Tucker painting this as some kind of partisan witch hunt, when the truth is that some Republicans are saying they support the commission because it's being done in a bipartisan way. Not only is there bipartisan support for the commission, not only are there bipartisan sponsors for the commission, the plan right now would be that the commission would have 10 members. Democrats get to appoint 5. Republicans get to appoint 5. Democrats appoint the chair and Republicans appoint the vice chair. Remember, Democrats control the House. So the closest you can get to it being perfectly bipartisan is 5 and 5. Democrats, because they control the House, pick the chair. Republicans get the vice chair. And the commission would only be able to issue subpoenas if they're signed off on by both the Democratic chair of the commission and the Republican vice chair. So, you couldn't even have a situation where Democrats alone start issuing all sorts of subpoenas. The Republican vice chair would have to be on board with every single subpoena. And yet Tucker doesn't like it, frames it as some kind of farce, because God forbid we should ever find out what really happened on that day and the causes and the explanations for why things went down the way they did. But as we said earlier, if you were complicit, you wouldn't want to support it. And defendants accused in the January 6th Trump riots have actually tried, 2 of them at least, blaming Fox News and blaming President Donald Trump. Neither has worked so far. But blaming Fox News, Tucker Carlson is a part of Fox News. And it seems pretty clear that he would be against such an investigation because it can't possibly be good for him. I'm not saying the probe would bring down Tucker. I'm not saying it would get him to lose his show or get him charged with a crime. None of that would happen. But if you're Tucker, it wouldn't be good for more attention, especially in congressional hearings, to be on the alleged role of Fox News in fomenting the riots. That's very clear. So it does make sense in that way that Tucker would be opposed to it. Now, on the other hand, the White House does back a January 6th commission. And really, one should have been formed on January 7th. Maybe May of 2021 is the best we can get. At the end of the day, if they can't get Republican leadership to support it, I think they probably will. But if they can't, just go ahead without Republican leadership. They can find Republicans who will be on the commission because there's enough Republicans already, at least 20, who want to do the investigation. Some of those Republicans will participate in good faith to try to get some answers. And the Republicans that remain on the sidelines screaming, this is a partisan witch hunt, I don't think they'll make much of a difference. Democrats should continue to focus on the 70% of the country that sees Biden doing well on COVID. And they say, yeah, Biden's doing well on COVID. They see Biden doing well on vaccination and they say, yeah, the vaccination rollout is going well. Just proceed, because I think you'll have an equivalent 70% of the country that understands the importance of doing this probe and will support doing it. If you disagree, and if you think there's political risk to going forward without Republicans in the leadership supporting it, they've got Republicans that will be on the commission. Let me know. I don't see it as a risk. I think Democrats should move forward one way or the other. Let me know your thoughts. One of our sponsors today is COVID Rescue Fund. COVID Rescue Fund is helping small business owners who have lost their businesses during COVID. There are over 100,000 small businesses that have had to close their doors since the pandemic began. There are many organizations out there helping businesses who are still open to stay afloat, but COVID Rescue Fund is one of the few organizations working to help businesses reopen who have had to close. COVID Rescue Fund crowdsources funds to provide grants up to $100,000 for these owners to create new businesses. I would implore anyone in my audience to help COVID Rescue Fund in their mission by donating at covidrescuefund.org. All money that you give is going to the mission, not to compensating people who work for the organization. The founders of COVID Rescue Fund are big fans of the David Pakman Show. Let's help them bring back as many small businesses as we can. The link is right underneath this video.